if you're connected to an independent timeshare resort, or like we say in the industry, a legacy property, then stay tuned and you're going to learn some very interesting details about how to get free renovation financing. I'm Sharon Scott Wilson with Resort Trades, and we're the timeshare resort industry's B2B go-to information resource. So please check us out on resorttrades.com. Now, today, I'm pleased to introduce CEO and co-founder of Vacatia, Caroline Shin, and head of Vacatia Partner Services, Michelle DuChamp. Thank you for joining us. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome. Vacatia was featured in our August edition of Resort Trades, and I've found a very interesting article, Engineering Success, Caroline Shin leading Vacatia Inc. to a bright future. So most timeshare professionals became acquainted with Vacatia back in 2013. It was a rental and resale company originally, but as the article says, Vacatia debuted in 2019 as a management company. So Caroline, perhaps you can tell us what prompted this and how'd you get involved?
Yeah, thank you, Sharon. Well, like you said, we did start as a technology platform powering resales and rentals online for the timeshare and the condo hotel industry. We initially started by sharing our platform with larger developers, branded developers. And when we started working with the independent timeshare resorts, they all clearly wanted help and was eager to partner with us to generate more revenue on the rental and resale side. But simply, giving them an API and say, hey, connect to our tech platform wasn't going to cut it. They didn't have the resources like the larger developers did to truly utilize our technology. So we rolled up our sleeves and started working with the HOAs and of these independent timeshares. And what we realized is that we can actually partner with the HOAs in a much more holistic and deeper manner by becoming a property manager and not simply just a vendor. So like you said, in 2019, we decided to expand into property management so we can help the HOAs with all opportunities and challenges that they face, not just, rentals or resales being done online.
Oh, well, that sounds super. Michelle, now you and I have been friends for a couple of decades. Right. And you're very well known in the industry. You joined Vacatia Partner Services last year. So why did you decide this was the place that you wanted to be?
Yeah, change is always scary, but I had spent 20 years in the timeshare industry and working with a lot of independent timeshare resorts, meeting with their general managers, meeting with the HOA boards, and really trying to put our heads together to solve the challenges that they were facing. While many companies have solutions that are helpful for resorts, when I looked at Vacatia, they really stood out because of the expertise it had across really all aspects of the business, from the technology side, which is more and more important in our industry and is amazing. They were all senior leaders in their respective fields, whether it's travel technology, hospitality, timeshare, exchange companies, et cetera. And I really learned from them every day, which is just a great experience for me. And I'm excited to share all of their expertise with the HOAs. When I really look at it, above all, it's really the culture is one of the key reasons why I joined Vacatia. Everyone at Vacatia is really focused on revitalizing the HOA community and treating owners like family. We view the relationships with each of our resorts as a true partnership, not looking at it as a vendor relationship. And our team thinks out of the box because every resort that we work with is unique. And so we want to figure out what is the best way to help that particular resort. And all these values really spoke to me, and it's been fun. I've really enjoyed being part of the Vacatia team.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Sounds like you're very comfortable there.
I
So-
am.
So Caroline, I heard Vacatia funds resort renovations, and I imagine many resorts would be interested in learning more. So how does that work?
We're so excited to announce this and on Resort Trades, Sharon. A common challenge, I think, as many of us know in the industry for independent timeshare resorts, is that their buildings are typically older, and many of them need a refresh, sometimes even more dramatic than a refresh, for these resorts to go back to their past splendor again. But renovation of these resorts are critical to keeping owners happy, increasing rental revenue, and attracting new members so that the HOA can continue to sustain itself and grow ownership instead of being in a decline. But there are not a lot of financing options available for independent timeshare resorts. So oftentimes, the primary or even the only choice is for owners to fund it on their own. And what that typically means is that renovations don't occur right away. They have to occur over a very long period of time, as it's not feasible for owners to pay such a large special assessment all at once. So owners or renters or future owner prospects never get to experience a fully renovated resort, because by the time you're done renovating the very last unit, it's been years since you've done the first unit, so you got to go and retouch that unit. So you don't get that new experience, that new resort, new car smell, if you will, experience right away. And we wanted to solve that. We put our heads together, like Michelle said. We encourage everyone on our team to think out of the box, and this is our program. So to solve this dilemma, we decided that we are going to pay. Vacatia is going to pay the upfront cost to renovate the resorts. I want to emphasize that it is not alone. We don't have a requirement to own weeks. And as your property manager, what we do is that we can forecast what a renovation can do for your resort, such as improved owner retention, higher rental rates, higher sales conversion, all of this resulting in higher revenues for both the HOA and Vacatia. So once we become your property manager and we forecast what we expect the revenue growth to be, we tell the boards, here is what portion of Vacatia's future earnings we're willing to put up front to fund that renovation. And that's it. It's really easy. 3 steps to qualify, as you have up there on the screen.
Wow. This is sounds too good to be true. So what's the catch?
Sharon, I hear that a lot because I'm out talking to boards about this program and the opportunity there. And the best thing about it is there isn't a catch. The funds are free. It's, as Caroline said, we want to contribute what we forecast as our future earnings as something that the resort can take advantage of now to improve and get back to that vibrancy of the resort. And a lot of this is, we believe in our technology. We've proven our capabilities on the technology side with rentals, the operating capabilities to grow revenues once the property is renovated. And again, it's one of the many collaborative ways that we work with our associations to ultimately create that win-win for both of us as partners.
Wow. So how does a resort qualify to receive funds for the renovation?
Yep. Please contact us if you're interested. Contact Michelle. Everyone knows her in the industry. She's Michelle at Vacatia. And so once you contact us, we will sit down with the general manager and the board and learn about your resort. We'll probably ask for a lot of data and information so we can absorb how the property has been doing and start building that future forecast with you. We'll pull intelligence data with reports that we have access to, such as the going rental rates and occupancy in your region, what we think the sales conversion could be once the property is renovated, what the competitive, what we call ComSet, or what the competitive hotels or resorts around you are doing. So with all that information, we'll give you a forecast, not only with the expected revenue increase that I mentioned before, but potentially even cost savings. We found that replacing older equipment during renovation, for example, can reduce costs over time. So once we develop a forecast, and we again believe in 100% transparency, we'll show everything that went into it to the board, and communicate to them what percentage of Vacatia's future earnings we're willing to pay upfront. Board members are really smart. They know it has to make sense for us too. So when we get asked the question, "What's the catch?" we're just really honest with them, and they get it. Okay, you're putting the energy around believing that Vacatia can make this happen for you. And we are showing that we're confident with that by putting the money up front.
Wow, that sounds really terrific. So, but what happens if a resort doesn't qualify? Can you still help them?
Yeah, every resort is unique, Sharon. And so we always strive to think out of the box. What is the best way that we can work with that particular association? And, there will be instances where, it might be difficult for a resort to qualify for the funding because maybe they don't have rental inventory. And that's a key component in what we look at. But if we can't offer renovation funding, we still have a solution for them. We can offer a loan directly to the association, but on much more favorable terms than they could get elsewhere. So for example, a longer payback period. So again, giving them money up front to make those renovations happen now. And if they don't qualify for the funding piece, offering them a finance solution that gives them a longer payback period. Every resort's a bit different. That's actually kind of the fun part with it, because we get to work with the boards and the manager on the resort side to ultimately strive to customize what solution works best for that HOA.
That's really neat. Can you share with us a recent renovation that was financed by Vacatia?
I love this resort, and I love the story behind the renovation. It's Grand Shore West in St. Pete, Florida. And they're undergoing renovations right now. And you cannot beat the location of this property. The resort is on the Gulf of Mexico, pristine white sands that the area is known for, right outside the resort. But the timeshare, when we entered as the manager, had a lot of deferred maintenance. So the pictures on the left, you get a feel for that. So the sticker price for this property for much needed renovation was very high. So this was a slightly customized approach. Vacatia paid about a third of the renovation costs, but it also, in addition, offered a loan. So owners can pay for the remaining costs over several years, but still enjoy a renovated resort ASAP. So it's a combination of a loan as well as those free funds that we mentioned. You can see the before and after pictures. In person is even more dramatic. And my favorite part when I visit this resort, I sit in the lobby and just watch the owner's reaction when they walk in and their jaws drop. It is great. And we receive so much ecstatic reviews from owners and elsewhere. This is a phenomenal success story.
Yeah, and I think one of the other things to note is, in addition to just seeing how much the owners love the renovation, we saw an increase in the rental revenue that the resort got to experience. So the resort saw a positive financial impact. We got a drastic improvement in the comment card scores that we were receiving and in the online reviews that the resort was seeing, which then is just going to further enhance future occupancy, future rates that the resort can command. And also through the renovation, we were really excited because Grand Shores West was nominated as an ARTA finalist at the ARTA conference that was earlier this year in the resort design category. And they were a finalist alongside of Disney Vacation Club and Hilton Grand Vacations. So we were really proud of the renovation work that was done and the recognition that it got from ARTA, the trade association, as well.
Wow. Well, obviously, it sounds like increasing rental income at these properties is really key to funding renovations and generally increasing revenue for resorts. So what role does technology play in this area? What types of technology do you use?
Technology is absolutely vital here. Rental competition is fierce. Just putting Static rates online or waiting for people to call is just not going to give you the edge to win a lion's share of the rental demand in your market. We have a combination of our own proprietary technology as well as integrating with the best-in-class software, not just for timeshare, but for all of hospitality. So for instance, we partner with a company that pulls real-time rental rates from competitive hotels and resorts and vacation rentals around your area. We use that data in our proprietary technology to automatically optimize your rental rates based on how much inventory you may have, what we call the pace of bookings or the number of rental bookings that are coming in. And we compare that to what others are doing, what you did last year, what we were forecasting, et cetera. And we have then a very good algorithmic understanding of how the market rates change the demand in the business that your resort is getting. So we also make your inventory available real time to a very large number of online travel agencies. I can't emphasize how important it is to sync your availability automatically versus having a delay because you're losing out on a lot of business. We also are rolling out a property management system that is online or cloud-based, making it really easy for our front desk team to learn, where they can interact with our inventory and our reservations much more in a fluid manner. We also, our own proprietary technology suite includes our own online travel agency, our own rental platform, which is you can go see on vacatia.com. And it's a bit different than Expedia or Booking, et cetera, because it is HOA. We have some information ahead of time that will allow us to have a good communication with that guest.
It sounds great. Now, 10 months ago, Vacatia announced that it had secured $20 million in its Series B financing and established a $60 million acquisition and development fund. Amazing. So where will that money go?
There's really three areas that we're focusing those funds towards. The first is we finance and fund resort renovations, as we've discussed today. And that could be anything from, at Grand Shores West, as you saw, we did a very full-blown renovation of that resort. But it could be specific to what does that resort need, depending on what stage different things are. Maybe it's just the kitchen that needs replaced. Maybe it's something in the common elements that needs to be taken care of. So again, we work with each of the resorts to determine what are those renovation funds going to be used for in order to make sure that we're putting the best foot forward for the resort and what we can generate for future rental revenues. Second, we look to go out and acquire retiring property managers who are really wanting to ensure that a business they have spent decades and decades creating is in good hands, as well as ensuring that those HOAs that they've served all those years are in good hands, and that someone will continue and champion what they have, spent years of their lives doing. So, second, we look at acquiring those property managers that are looking for that retirement opportunity. And then third, we invest in our research and development. We're constantly challenging ourselves to continue to innovate and find new and better ways to help and work with these HOAs in this independent resort space that's out there. It truly is our passion.
Can you use any vendors you want, or are you limited to Vacatia endorsed suppliers?
Yeah, I'll take that, Sharon. No, you're not limited to our suppliers. Of course, as your property manager, one of our jobs is to recommend those that we work with in the past that we have a lot of confidence in. So we will bring the former vendors that we've used for renovations to the table. But if there's someone that the resort is very happy and familiar with and have used in the past, of course, we'll talk to them, especially if they have a lot of knowledge about the property.
Okay. Jean Sawa asked, do you only fund renovations or do you also fund upgrades? For example, funding for an outdated kitchen versus funding for top-of-the-line appliances? Good question.
Yeah, I think that's really where the collaborative approach with the board is really key in that, because we're working on behalf of our board and they're representing just goodwill with owners. Owners love seeing changes and improvements to the resorts, and that helps with the delinquency in their portfolios, people paying on time, and it's all really kind of interrelated.
Yeah, it sounds like that the overall health of the resort would be something that would light up their eyes. Gaëtan Babin from Canadian Resort Development Association, CARTA. He wants to know, how do you overcome the skepticism that an older HOA has based on past negative experiences from a third party? Great question, Gaëtan.
Yeah, and we've encountered that, when some of the HOAs had, unfortunately, some negative experience, and we're looking for change, which is oftentimes how we got introduced to them. I would say in 3 ways. One, we actually have to prove we're a good manager. Michelle touched on our team, and I think that's our biggest differentiator and strength. Whatever challenge you have as an HOA, we have an expert in-house that will help you guide the way. The second is be honest and absolutely transparent with the board with both good news and bad news. Our job is to make sure we partner with them, not tell them necessarily what they want to hear, but tell them, what needs to happen at the property. And a lot of these older HOAs have some tough decisions they have to make. And then lastly, we never forget this. This is an independent timeshare community, not a large developer. So the resort is the owner's resort. We're just simply stewards of the property. So we always remember that. And we make sure that we educate and communicate to the owners of all the different options. But at the end of the day, it's their decision how they want to go forward with their property.
Okay, great. Now, Butch Welsh had asked, what's the relationship between Resort Trades and Vacatia? Resort Trades is a B2B independent magazine, and Vacatia advertises with us, and we help them market themselves. Does the initial contact have to be from a board member?
Anybody can feel free. My phone number and email address are always available.
Another question, how long does it take for an association to get qualified?
Not very long. I think it's more based around how readily available the data can be made available to us. So we can collaborate with the general manager and the board to do that reforecast that I mentioned to you. We can get it done as quickly as a couple weeks, less than a month if we have the information. Oftentimes we found that we have to help the properties get the data, and that's really where the delay is.
Rob Woodward says, since this is an investment based on a diligent forecast, what are the associations or obligations of the HOA to meet the forecast?
Yeah,
that's a
I'll
good
take
question.
That one. Yeah, I'll take that one. The obligation would be mostly on us. We are the property manager, and we need to actually, perform as we forecasted. And the board has to. I guess they have 2 obligations. One is to make sure that we're the right party, and we convince them that we have, we know what we're doing, and we have what it takes to execute on the forecast and the vision, and making sure they partner with us and ensure that we do that. And then the second would be, again, we want to be really honest with our HOAs. Oftentimes what this means is that it's a longer term property management contract, because we need the time to earn our future earnings, if you will, that we're paying up front. Of course, if we don't do our jobs, the board can always get out. But typically it would require a more longer term contract, especially if the renovation funds are bigger that the resort needs. If it's shorter and the smaller amount, then we can do that too.
Thanks again, ladies, for your time.